This Halloween, I turned my basement into a witch-themed escape room for my friends and family. It's the coolest thing I've ever made and includes 8 puzzles from a magical cauldron to a hidden room, and of course, the witch herself. But first, a little backstory. I love Halloween. 3 years ago, I made a scavenger hunt so my niece could stop a witch from entering the world. Last year, the witch tried to return, so I made a little shooter game. This year, I knew I had to top it. I knew I needed to go big, so I started with an idea of a witch's cabin and a creaky forest. And to make the game more collaborative, I also wanted to separate my players, so I built this cage to create 2 distinct areas. My favorite prop in the entire room are these trees. Using scrap cardboard, we created trunks, and using rolls of brown paper and a staple gun, we brought them to life. With the room built, the witch herself set up the game for the players. To create the witch, I recorded my own voice, pitched it up, and used the local AI tool called WAN Infinite Talk to animate a still image from my computer. If you want a quick tutorial on how I did that, please comment below. With the witch's challenge laid out, the players had to escape. They started in total darkness, and their first task was to find these. This uses a Vedman switch, which I encased in a custom 3D print and rewired some old Christmas lights to make it glow. Both players had to hold switches down simultaneously to turn on the main lights. With the lights on, they could finally see their main guide, the spellbooks. The first spell was Bind. To cast it, they had to collect 4 specific items, which required passing things back and forth across the cage. To know the order of the items, they had to collaborate across the cages using a cipher. Before they could place the items in the cauldron, they had to assemble a fire by finding these 3D printed puzzle pieces. And that brings me to the most complex build in the entire room, the magical cauldron. The cauldron can sense when one of the items is placed inside using NFC chips on the bottom of the items and phone tucked inside the cauldron. When they placed an item with a chip in the cauldron, it would trigger a specific light and sound from the phone, creating this awesome effect. Additionally, a tiny fog machine triggered remotely, really helping bring this to life. Link in the description. With the first spell cast, the witch returns.
You'll never solve it, there's too much more! When you fail, open the door!
After a message, the hidden room pops open on its own. This is all controlled by a Raspberry Pi, sending a signal to a small solenoid lock, which had a really spooky effect during the game. Inside the room was the key to open the main cage, finally uniting the players together, as well as 3 locked chests. The spellbook held the clue for the next spell called Seal. One chest required their secondary cipher book, another required them to count specific items around the room, and the third was just good old-fashioned trial and error with this whole set of awesome keys. Once unlocked, the contents of the chest also went into the cauldron, which triggered our final witch warning video and released a simple trap controlled by a string just to get a little jump scare. For the grand finale, they all received a set of riddles. By decoding the riddles, they received a hint as to the order in which to place their hands into the cauldron to cast the Shatter spell. Now this one was a little analog. I was triggering the success state from an app on my phone. When they got the order right, they received the final victory video. Check it out.
This year, the guys between Halloween backwards to Halloween!
And with that, they successfully banished the witch. For now. The game ended with a credits roll featuring some of our best Halloween costumes from previous years. Thanks so much for watching. I had an absolute blast building this. If you liked this project, let me know what your favorite puzzle was in the comments, and maybe subscribe so you don't miss what I build next.